actually just the lady that runs the account. I'm Rosie from NUS UK. My role at NUS covers, I'm a union development coordinator, but that mostly covers at the moment covering student opportunities stuff. So clubs, societies, student volunteering, student fundraising and student media. My main kind of purpose at the moment is supporting Richard Brooks, who's the Vice President Union Development for NUS UK, with his work, and his priority campaign work this year is around student opportunities. So one of the big projects that we do as part of that is Student Volunteering Week. So who's there? There's Holly and Michelle.
That's right.
And where from? Aberdeen, lovely. Okay. So I think we'll keep this fairly brief. The purpose of today is because over the past few years for Student Volunteering Week, we haven't really had great take-up for Student Volunteering Week with Scottish student associations. But you're not the only ones, because Northern Ireland and Wales also don't tend to do much either. So what we thought would be helpful potentially is for me to have kind of more one-on-one chats with us from the nation, so that you have a chance to kind of ask questions or talk to me about what didn't work quite so well for you for Student Volunteering Week, or any questions that you've got about it, because we really want it to be a national project. I don't just want it to be an England thing.
Yeah.
And like I'm not based in London. I work across the UK. I'm actually based in Cardiff. I work from home. So I know kind of what it feels like to be in a nation, and so I just want something that's really important to me, that we kind of work with you to make it work for you, so that it's not just done mostly student unions that are based near London doing things.
Yeah.
So that's doing today, and I've got a few slides to show you, but I'll just talk you through it briefly. But just interrupt me if you've got any questions, because what you want to know is probably you to everybody else as well. And what we do with this recording is I'll send it around to the other students' associations that said they were interested, because there were about 4 that couldn't attend, that said they couldn't attend but really wanted to come. There were, I think, 3 or 4 others that registered to attend who have clearly had some sort of problem today. So a few bits. Student Week is at the end of February.
Mm-hmm.
We need to find a date that suits everybody. Never can. But this definitely is this year. We got over 70 student unions, volunteering teams, student associations signed up. What signing up means, I'll talk to you about that in a bit more depth in a minute, but it doesn't necessarily mean they have to do something. It just means that you're interested in kind of getting the information at the moment. The 2 themes for Student Volunteering Week this year, we have 1 or 2 themes every year to kind of help people to focus their activities. And 2 main themes for this year are collaboration and celebration. And what in more detail is in collaboration, that it can kind of be whatever is useful to you. That could be collaboration between your societies and your sports clubs to do some volunteering. It could be you collaborate with your institution with the Students' Association and you do some joined up stuff, or it could be that you collaborate with any local colleges that are kind of nearby and collaborative stuff with them. It could be, and something that would make me very happy is that across Scotland there's collaboration, so lots of the student associations in Scotland do similar stuff, or all kind of talk about the same thing on Student Volunteering Week. We're not taking what the collaboration necessarily is, but that's something that a lot of people talked about last year as something that they'd really like to see come up for Student Volunteering Week in 2016. So that's one of our key themes. And there is celebration, and this is celebrating the student volunteering that already happens, and also celebrating the diversity of student volunteering. So we would like to talk about the fact that not everyone knows all of the different opportunities that students can do in terms of volunteering, and all the amazing stuff that they do, which actually probably people out of student world don't realise.
Mm-hmm.
They're the two themes. Do you have any questions about them?
We're actually, the collaboration, we're thinking of collaborating with RU, which is like Robert Gordon University in Aberdeen, so they're in Aberdeen as well.
Yeah.
University of Aberdeen. So
Yeah.
I went in touch with Ed Pollock, who's the community president there, and hopefully we can collab with them. I think an interesting point you made there was about the institution collaboration, and hopefully we can collaborate with them in terms of a fair or in terms of use facilities of some sort during the week as well. So that kind of ideas we've got just now. And with the celebration point, we are currently doing a kind of massive vinyl wall with all our student groups on it, with each individual point, each individual lab and their title and how many hours they volunteer for, and like a picture of them next to it as well. So we're just getting that set up just now, and hopefully get that ordered and sorted for the new year in time for volunteering week. So we're things in motion. We're just gonna. So it's interesting that those are the two themes, because it's kind of what we're doing just now as well.
Yeah, and I'm so glad that they work for you. That's a. Yeah. It's much better than you saying, "Oh, that's nice," but that's not helpful. So they're the themes. So there's some really good ideas that others could maybe copy if they are struggling to think of things to do. So thanks for those.
No problem.
This is just a bit of like what happened last year. 86 colleges and unis did something. That was from around 120 that had registered. So there's a group of maybe 20, 30 that don't tend to do anything after registering. So one of the things they're doing is to try and help people with it. People who do register actually want to try and do some activity during the week. 34% of the people who were involved last year, so the teams that were involved last year, were new, so they haven't done any SVW stuff before, so that's really nice. Over the week, I think there was more than this, but we actually have a record of, there were 492 events, and over 8,000 volunteers got involved with those. 5% of those students who got involved were new to volunteering. And then this last one, 62% increase in participation 3 weeks after. So we asked everybody to measure whether participation had increased after Student Volunteering Week, because it was one of the key things we were looking at last year. And we saw a 62% increase across the volunteering teams who gave us that information. So that was really nice. And I think that's nice to see, because we can see like there's an impact. You know.
Yeah.
So that's just a bit of info for you. So what I'll talk you through now, and I won't go into too much detail about all of it. I'll kind of give you an overview, and then if you want to ask questions about the bit interesting to you, these are the steps for involvement. So first is registering. Have you registered yet on the website?
No, yeah. We're still debating whether we can be involved or not, because it's the week prior to RAG Week.
Yeah.
We need to see if we actually can manage to do that as well as RAG Week organising as well. So, but I can't see why we can't. But fussing about this in due course.
Okay. Well, I mean, you can register and then actually not do anything. All registering means is that we've got the correct details for whoever the right person to talk to is. That you'll get our fortnightly newsletter, which gives you information about Student Volunteering Week. What we do is we won't shout at you if you don't end up doing anything, because we understand that people can always do something. So it's kind of an easy step to take if you're interested in running something, because it keeps you in contact with us, the national team. The first step. The second step is, at the moment, it says the deadline's the 30th of November. That's just changed this morning. That we're running a T-shirt competition. So you can see the design of last year's T-shirt on the page. We ask students to design the T-shirt. and the deadline's changed to the 20th of November, so obviously there's not that much time, but the 20th of November, so it's next week, but there's still on Twitter at the moment on the Student Volunteering Week Twitter account, and there's stuff on the website, so it'd be that you want to send out to students that you know are a bit creative.
Yeah.
And then there's quite a profile judging panel in a few weeks' time where we get some people from kind of the communications industry, the fashion industry, to judge the t-shirt, which is exciting.
Yeah.
That's just something that we introduced last year for the first time because we thought, well, it's Student Volunteering Week, why have we got a designer in our office design a t-shirt when we could get students to do it? So one of our little projects. Okay, so the third way to get involved is through sending some students to our boot camp. And it's actually a good thing to do if you haven't got the time to organise something yourself and kind of want to delegate it to students. If you've got a couple of students who are really engaged and really interested in Student Volunteering Week, or if you've got some that have potential but maybe don't really know what to do or need a bit of support. We aren't running one in Scotland. The nearest one to Scotland is York, which I realise isn't necessarily very close, but we found that when we do run stuff in Scotland, we do struggle with attendance.
Yeah. And the thing I would say is it's not so much of us travelling because we're kind of used to it up here in Aberdeen. More the dates. We have recently changed our academic structures. Yeah. All our exams are before Christmas now, and they start on the revision week starts on the 27th of November. So I really struggle in even getting any students to come, which is a shame because I would try to get people to come along.
We'll obviously be collating the information from the boot camp, and following the boot camps, we're doing 2 student-facing webinars, so it'll be exactly in this format that we're in right now.
Okay.
But the idea behind them is that you can get a group of students in a room or in like a lecture room or something. Yeah. Myself and colleagues from Student Hubs, who are the co-partners for Student Volunteering Week, will run not kind of the full boot camp content, but almost like a shortened down, neater version of it online. It's not the same as getting everybody in a room, but hopefully you'll be able to get some students to participate. And we're doing those in January and early February. So again, we'll email out about those on the Student Volunteering Week newsletter. Okay. So that's boot camp. Step 4, Student Volunteer of the Year. So the deadline for this is the 11th of December. We award Student Volunteer of the Year every year, and it's quite prestigious. It's national, so they are the student volunteer of all of the UK, which is excellent. And we will have a long list of 10 students and a short list of 5. The short of 5 will be invited to a celebration event in City Hall, Thames in London, start of Student Volunteering Week, and we pay for their travel to get there. And then on the day at the celebration event, we'll award Student Volunteer of the Year to the winner. So quite exciting. The information kind of in detail is online, but the 3 headline things we're looking for from them are commitment, leadership and impact. And there's a blog online as well on the Student Volunteering Week website which talks you through 10 tips for writing a good application.
Yeah.
And although it's competitive, you make more than one student if you want to. If you've got a couple that are really good, we limit how many each institution can submit. Because obviously it's still quite a nice thing because we tell everyone who gets a nomination to tell them that they've been nominated and congratulate them. And that's still quite a nice thing to have, to say that their institution nominated them for this national award.
For sure.
They win a lovely certificate, and they win lots of press and media attention, but they also win £1,000 that they can put towards their cause. And usually they put that towards the volunteering project that they've been working on. Questions about that?
No, I've actually got a couple of people in mind that we could put forward for that in terms of our Nightline volunteers, and also our student is also part of Rag Week. So yeah.
Please submit. We're looking to get a load of nominations this year, and we've got a really good judging panel together, so it's really exciting. We do lots of
and a thousand for their cause as well, which is
It is what they want to donate that to. They, over the past few years, they've always donated it to the project that they were of. But if they decided they wanted to donate it to a different charity, or if they wanted to donate it to the Student Association volunteering pot, like, it's completely up to them. So that's nice, yeah. So that's Student Volunteer of the Year. And then kind of the last step, which is the biggest one, is planning your activity. It sounds like you've got a good few ideas already. So I've just bullet pointed some kind of start ideas based on some of the stuff that people have done in the past. So some teams decide that they want to do something every single day of Student Volunteering Week, which is obviously quite intense. Takes a lot of time, but it's quite impactful. I found a couple last year did like a RAG day and like a fundraising day as part of that. Which if you're doing it the next week, then that might not be as useful, but that's an idea. Some chose like a different cause for each day. So on one day they did homelessness, on one day they did mental health, on one day they did like local community action. There's lots of kind of different themes that you could choose if you wanted to do that. I heard somewhere that they got students to kind of vote on what causes they wanted to support students during Student Volunteering Week, and then that's what they focused on for each day. So that's quite interesting. You could do a one-off project that is on one of the days of Student Volunteering Week, or indeed it could be a few weeks after Student Volunteering Week, but what you do during the week is promote that project. So you could organise a big volunteering project where you need students to get involved, and you can use the kind of buzz and the excitement of Student Volunteering Week to engage people in that project ready for a few weeks later. So it could be that if you're doing RAG Week the next week, you could just do a little bit during Student Volunteering Week, but maybe promote RAG Week the next week.
Yeah.
And I was doing it. Some people just do social media, and that's absolutely fine. Obviously, we'd love you to do volunteering projects, but we understand that you're already busy. So just think about what you could put on Facebook, what you could put on Twitter, Instagram, you could put some stuff on there, and you could focus more on the celebration side of Student Volunteering Week, and a chance to say thank you to your volunteers, or to celebrate the stuff that your volunteers already do. Absolutely fine, and if that's all you can do, then that's okay. I've just said about saying thank you, so lots of the charities that we work with for Student Volunteering Week, so the national charities, use it as an opportunity to thank their student volunteers. That's a way of keeping student volunteers happy. And finally, obviously, collaboration is a big thing that we talked about at the start. But, if you haven't got as much capacity to do loads of stuff just with your institution, then collaborating, although it's a little bit more work in the planning stages, actually it sometimes means less work during the week. And it's really exciting when institutions can work together. So the idea of you working with RGU, that would be really cool. So that's some good food for thought. Have you any thoughts on that?
No, I think I agree with you in terms of we probably didn't do something every day just because of RAG being the day later, and it would be the same kind of people doing the organising of that. So I think a one-off project could be doable, and we could collab with RGU and with Aberdeen Uni as well. So I mentioned about maybe doing some sort of fair, but I nothing wrong with fairs, but it just seems to me they're always done. And is there anything that kind of springs to mind yourself that's a wee bit different that might engage students more?
Volunteering fair where you advertise all of your
that was the idea originally, but I feel like it's already been there, kind of done that sort of thing, and I don't know, for something different to engage.
I think that one of the teams did last year was they did a ring fair, but they also made it into like a community fair. So they got people, they got it like a farmers market. So they got like students who had done crafts and stuff to show their work. They had local businesses selling stuff on campus, and they did like different arts projects on campus. But they combined that with a volunteering fair. It's quite an interesting way. If you did one fair, it's quite an interesting way of getting the community on campus.
Yeah.
And it's a good way of saying if there's local charities and local causes, you can get campus, but also you can work with local businesses. That's quite
As a WAG, we actually benefit local causes, and that's one of our stipulations in our guidelines. So we do work closely with local charities and businesses. So yeah, just to kind of bring people in more. I mean, people who are interested in volunteering will come along to a volunteering fair, but it's getting those that haven't got involved before. And
I did speed matching once. I think that's a speed date, but so that got quite a few people in. So say there was 30 different charities there, and they each had 3 minutes to say why you share with them, and then I would ring the bell and they would move on. And they'd been around everybody in a second date form, and I would pass those details then on to that charity. So that was something a bit different, you know.
Oh, that's clever. Yeah, that's
nice. Like Holly said, it's difficult when it's just a standalone volunteer, whereas I think if it's an employability fair, you know, come and get a part-time job and do some volunteering as well, that would get more people in, wouldn't it? You know?
Yeah, and you're likely to get institutional buy-in to that kind of thing as well.
Yeah.
If you're thinking about engaging with new students, Ed wrote a report that we launched in summer called Breaking Down Barriers to Student Opportunities. I can email that to you if you haven't seen it already.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, it's basically there's basically 10 barriers that we've identified that stop students from doing volunteering societies and sports and RAG, and it gives you a framework at the end of the report to help you think about how to overcome some of that. So I guess like some of the kind of headlines from that is that if you want to engage new students that you don't always engage, so the people that aren't necessarily already volunteering, think about how you advertise and when you advertise things. And so this volunteering week, you could perhaps, if you've got any idea of splitting a course, just don't volunteer. So I don't know what the demographic is with your institution, but you know that there's a certain demographic of students that you're not engaging. Think about where they are and what they're doing, and then going to them. And if it's that actually they're not bothered about volunteering, they're not interested, going to them and talking to them about it might help you. Or having little pop-up stands in the art. So if you know that it's a certain that's studying a certain thing, going and being outside the lecture when it finishes and having something engaging for them to look at. Because a lot of the time you'll find that the students that don't engage won't necessarily go on the association's website. No. They might not come in to see you. Actually, if you go to them, they might find it really interesting. So I'll do the barriers report and you can have a look at that and it'll give you some ideas. But also on the Student Volunteering Week blog, there'll be lots of different ideas coming up over the next few months. Things that people have done differently.
In terms of registering, can I give you 2 email addresses rather than just the one?
I don't know whether the form will let you do that. I'm not sure.
I'd like to be in the loop, but I think Michelle is obviously... Yeah. Or we could just use the one email and then forward it on to each other. That can do that as well. But.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you can add 2 because I haven't been in that end of the form. Yeah, if you can register and then you could kind of pass it on to each other.
Yeah.
So that's just a bit of thinking about different activities. And then Well, that's it really in terms of planned stuff that I wanted to tell you about. On the screen now you can see loads of different contact information. So Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, the address for kind of general inquiries about Student Volunteering Week is on screen.
Followed you on Twitter.
Oh, yay, good, well done. And then there's the website, which the website gets updated every couple of weeks with new content, so the loads on there. But yeah, in terms of specifics for me, do you have any questions or anything else you want to chat about?
So I think that's about but
Said it's the timing because we've got refreshers week 11th of January, we've got employability week 8th of February, we've got week
29th to the 4th of March.
you know,
so
and
Yeah.
it's quite a big time kind of thing, you know.
Yeah.
We just have to think about how we can bring it all together.
yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to do loads during the week. You can use it, as I said, as a more of an advertising thing to talk about Rag Week, or you use it for another purpose. It's the national thing. As if your students happen to see it on Twitter or whatever. No other institutions involved.
Hashtags and handles stuff like that.
Yeah, and we get a lot of queries from students who have seen about Student Volunteering Week online. They email us to say, is my institution doing anything? And if the institution isn't doing anything, then we tell them to go and pester you so you do. But all of the information of all of the teams that have registered will be online. You can now who's registered already. So students will be able to see that. So it's quite nice to be able to do something, even if you just did one on one day or one afternoon or something. Yeah. Okay. Well, if you haven't got any further questions, I'm happy to kind of shut here. I've really liked talking to you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. I'm sorry you didn't get to do collaborating with any of your colleagues from Scotland, but I'll send this round to them now, and I'll keep in touch with me. Let me know what you think. Give a call if you need any help. I'll email you with some recordings so you can send it around to anybody, and then you'll have my personal email address as well.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 That weekend I did a good collaboration.